Previously on Lost.
Greetings, Ron Smalek.
And Fellonius the Wizard. We are back with previously on the Lost Titanic.
Are you saying the ship is sinking?
More or less, it's going down.
Well, let's
we
see.
We just hit an iceberg somewhere, and I'm not totally sure.
So we're referring this episode to 3 episodes from season 6.
Yes.
Episodes 3, 4, and 5, which is What Kate Does, The Substitute, and Lighthouse.
Lighthouse, yes.
And I think your summation is did you like any of these or none of them?
Oh, yes, I enjoy the show as such. Mm-hmm. That is, it's moving forward in a pace that's good. And there are some things happening that is nice and interesting. But there are a lot of stuff that is missing, like where's the mystic things?
Oh,
I mean,
goodness.
Everything is now obvious and it's suddenly a drama, and we are seeing how people are taking care of their child and
we
that
will
stuff.
Let's see if I can draw some mystic things out with this conversation. But
yeah,
I will say I liked almost everything about the 4th episode, The Substitute.
Okay,
and we'll get into that. I didn't care for the first one, Kate's episode.
Nope,
at all. And the Lighthouse was a mix. So there are portions of these episodes that I loved the first time I saw them.
Of course.
And this time, I think the shock wasn't there. And so it was just like, okay, where is this going?
Yeah. But if you experienced the shock last time you saw it, well, how come I didn't experience any shock? I was bored. Well, more or less.
Yeah, let's get in. So we're going to try to not make this too negative. But
no.
I think we may talk more about what we didn't like, but we'll see. So just hang in there with us, please, till the end. So
we're having fun. That's the important stuff.
Yeah, like the first episode is What Kate Does, and this is kind of the mirror episode to What Kate Did.
Yep.
This one basically just shows what Kate does in the Flash Sideways universe.
Yeah.
Where she's running after the plane and doing stuff with Claire. And then in the 2007, in the main line, basically, I guess I would say they're dealing with Saeed being resurrected and Jin, Jack, Kate leaving and finding Claire has become the new Danielle.
Yeah.
So anything that I have a couple things, but anything you want to start with?
The good timeline, that is the LAX timeline, where Kate drives taxi and helps Claire.
The Flash Sideways.
It's so straight. It's like a drama production. There is nothing in it that gives us anything new in the form of the mystic stuff. It's just what could have happened if they didn't crash on the island.
Yeah,
right?
I would say it doesn't necessarily support what's happening in the other timeline. So
I would say it doesn't totally. It's totally the mirror of it.
Yeah,
because
the structure in past seasons would be if you have a flashback episode, or I mean, if you had flashbacks, it would it would be intertwined with what's happening in the non-flashback. And this you're right. These are very, very much two side-by-side storylines, although the Flash Sideways is back 3 years prior.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with it, actually. I don't feel like it does. But it's mirroring. Let's say when Kate is looking for Claire on the island, that is what she's supposed to be doing, she finds her in the other timeline. So the mirroring is there. And Kate is actually not only finding Claire, she's helping Claire and doing stuff, good stuff, without even, she doesn't really understand that in the beginning, but that's not the point. And in the other timeline, she's so far away from Claire that it's almost fun.
So, we'll step back a second. So now we've seen up 5 episodes out of, 17?
Yeah.
17 or 18. So we have so last season we had 2 timelines and we knew they were going to come together.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think this is headed in general?
At the moment, nowhere.
Are they going to come back together? Or I think we had the same question last week, but it's...
At the moment, it feels like we are going to choose between them. I think we had the same discussion last week as well. But it feels like if we, the audience back in that time, 2008 or whenever it was aired, if we are going to be allowed to choose on the internet, then we are now giving 2 choices. Would we love to have the good ending or the island ending? But it's so obvious that we want the bad ending, so I don't see the reason.
Yeah, I mean, so in the 2007, in the main timeline, there's clearly a conflict that has to get resolved.
Yep.
And as far as we know, the time travel, all that should be done and over.
Yep.
In the Flash Sideways universe, like, there's really no... There are hints that something is wrong.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that.
No.
Well,
because I feel it's more or less like ending each and everyone's story, and sometimes intertwine again.
Well,
but look
these
at
are
it.
things that jumped out. Well, let me specifically point out two things. Something's happening, but it's very subtle. So in the first episode, the first and second, Jack had this strange, mysterious cut on his neck. He didn't know where it came from.
Yep.
And he has the feeling that he's not, like, deja vu, right?
Yeah.
In these episodes, I forget which one it's in. I guess I didn't write it down. He asks his mom, he's like, when did I have my appendix out?
Yep.
Because remember, in the show, the day... So if you, like, look at the timeline, remember he gets his appendix out from... Was it from Juliet?
Yep.
Yeah. And so somehow those things are, like, echoing to that other timeline.
But it hasn't happened yet if you're thinking about the Juliet operation.
True, yeah, true. It's too fast. That's true. But it seems like something... It's leading up to something. They're teasing us with something, but I don't know what it is, right?
Yeah, but I don't really get it.
I mean, as far as Kate goes, in this episode, it has nothing to do with anything. It's just her running and then stupidly going back for Claire.
Yep.
And like it actually irritated me when she goes to the body shop guy, the auto mechanic, and like their interaction is just all light and matter of fact, and then she goes back, and then this lady, I felt for this lady who's going to adopt Claire's baby that her husband left her.
Yes.
But this person, Claire, flew all the way from Australia and they just weren't going to tell her. Like, that really made me mad.
That doesn't feel like something that would happen in the real world.
Yeah, it just... And then the only fun part of the Flash Sideways for me was seeing Ethan as an actual doctor.
Yes.
Because...
Pediatrist as well.
And it fits.
Yeah, that was really nice. But we have a special word for this. It's when you are doing small patches, when you have a pen or a pencil or anything, when you just make some small dents. We call it dutta. We are doing. Just making small things, and it doesn't mean anything. It's just there because they need to fill the time. And that's part of the iceberg.
It's nice seeing people we haven't seen in a while, and it's nice seeing the twists, but yeah, I don't know where it's going. That's all I have to say about the Flash sideways at the moment.
Yeah.
Now,
I would have one more because I think we're going to drop Kate. In this case, they are now trying to make both these two timelines at the same time, and in Kate's special case, she's actually having a very hard suntan in the island episodes, and she's not having it in the other episodes. And suddenly you can see that makeup artist, she should actually be kicked from this show. There is not a thing in that suntan that is real. It's so faked that I was holy. I don't know much about makeup, believe me, but I could really see that was not a tan at all.
Wow.
I mean, it's no shades. It's the exact same coloring, the exact nuance all over the face. There's no freckles. There's no dent where her chin is and all that stuff. No, nothing. It is just put on some brown stuff and let her shoot her movie. I mean, come on.
Well,
and the second obvious thing that they also should have done less of, who is driving the cab? Well, it's not Kate or Elizabeth, whatever her name is. She's not the one. You can clearly see that that's not the actor driving the cab in one shot. And I was... And it was so obvious because I'm just thinking, is that the cab of Kate's or is it someone else's? And that wasn't her.
I guess I wasn't watching too close.
No, but they are getting sloppy. It feels like this crew is actually getting sloppy. And I have several of these later on because they are so obvious. It's right up in your face.
Okay.
Yet another piece of the iceberg.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, that's Kate. Now, the other hand.
Yeah.
That's more interesting. Sorry, Kate, but this is much more interesting.
It is.
We are now in the bad timeline, or the main, as you call it. Why do you call it the main timeline?
Because it's like the main character's chronological...
Hold it. So you're calling it main. That means that we could remove the other timeline and you wouldn't even bother.
Yes, but I would say there's a reason it's there, but it could have been like the only reason I think they're side by side is because we had that A-bomb go off.
Oh yeah.
You know, like you could have just given me half the season with one and half the season with the other.
Yep.
They don't need to be tied together. That's all I can say for now.
They could even send one timeline on Wednesday, the other timeline on Thursday. You could pick which one you wanted to follow. Yeah.
Now,
okay, that would be fun.
Now, to be fair, I really don't like anything that happened in the main or bad timeline in this episode. So.
Well, there are a couple of stuff, but it's the reason for them is not clear, and that makes it. Why are they torturing Saeed? Why are Sawyer suddenly so keen on just moving out of there? And what the heck did he get the gun from? But on the other hand, they are not that responsible. The guys in this, the dog in his people.
Yeah. So, I guess we could start with Sawyer.
He's not much in this one, right?
No. Well, I don't have a lot of notes. He basically leaves the temple, and because he's like I'm fine with him in this one. I thought that was fine that he leaves and he's sick of everyone else. I mean, Juliet's dead. He blames Jack, so I was okay. I hate the fact that Kate goes after him. Like, that
And she
drove me
does it so
nuts.
easily.
Just drove me absolutely nuts.
Yeah, that was so stupid. And Jin was actually following her as well. And
Well,
then suddenly Kate just, yeah.
well, I understand why Jin just
Oh,
wants to go
yes.
find Sun. So
Suddenly he is interested in his wife again. Thank you very much. We were asking about that as well last time.
yeah, and I understand Sawyer. I can't tell if Kate wanted to go with Sawyer or if she really wanted to go after Claire.
Yeah, but if I'm right about the mirroring stuff, she needs to do the Claire stuff in the other timeline as well. Because she is the main one in this episode. So she needs to go after Claire in one and helping Claire in the other, and thereby mirroring the good side and the bad side. I'm still counting on these ones being good or bad, but it's as you say, you never know. And Kate doesn't do much. We don't have to bother
No.
with. Oh yeah, she just finds Sawyer again.
Did she find him drunk?
Yep.
No, he wasn't drunk. Sorry, that's John finds him drunk next time.
No, but he has been drinking. Believe me, he's been drinking. What he does, however, and this is the good part, he finds a little cardboard box in which there is a ring. He was going to ask Juliet to marry him.
Yeah, no. I thought
That
it was-
is one of the only shocks we can get in these 3 episodes, so I'm not totally sure. And that just showed me how deeply in love he was and how hard his sorrow is.
Sure. Yeah, it's all natural.
How far is it since he buried Juliet? Can it be a week, perhaps?
No, like a day
No,
or two.
Day or two, thank you. So he's really down in the dumps, right?
Yeah. So moving on.
Yeah, more or less.
Saeed is he basically gets tortured, but they're testing him and he doesn't pass. They say he's infected. Jack has to give him a poison. I like when Jack took the pill.
Yep, that was that's the best he has done so far in the 3 seasons we've seen him.
I don't like the fact that. So basically, the gist is that Claire. We don't see her until the end of this one, but she apparently was infected or claimed by the man in black.
Yeah.
Which explains why she was acting funny.
Yeah.
But I don't like it.
No, it doesn't fit the bill.
It's
yeah.
Why was she so easily infected before?
Yeah, but what's irritating me in this case, and not really this episode, but later on, is the bad side, the dark side. It feels like, okay, we are having the dark side of the Force. We are doing Star Wars now. They can't even come up with their own unique idea about the mysticism. That they're stealing straight from Star Wars, and George Lucas made it much better. Well, and that really made me.
I mean, there's so many angles I could take. One of them is if people can get infected by why was she infected?
Yeah.
We basically saw her in an explosion, and then suddenly she was infected.
Yeah.
And why didn't he infect everyone else? So
exactly.
If he's turning people to bad, that would have been a powerful weapon all along.
He could have done that far earlier.
And I really don't like the path that it seems like Saeed is on. If his role now is to basically become the bad guy, the inside mole for the bad guy. He was just. I mean, he just got touched by Jacob.
Yeah.
And just came back to the island.
Yep.
And redeemed himself of killing all Ben's people. Like, why? I don't like.
I don't think it's Saeed itself. As you probably remember, the water they lowered him in wasn't clear.
Right.
And the fact that it wasn't clear made him go to the dark side.
Right. But why Saeed? Why couldn't they have corrupted Miles or somebody else? Like,
Jack.
Saeed was on the path to being a good guy and finishing off his journey, and now they're putting him on a different journey.
Yeah,
So
well, I'm not that bothered with that. The problem might actually be that the water is contaminated by someone, and I would
yeah,
say it's contaminated because Jacob is dead. It's not that it's
yeah,
contaminated with anything else. It's just when Jacob is dead and gone, he cannot keep that water clear
yeah,
by his own presence on the island.
yeah.
So that's why it's contaminated. Automatically, the black one is taking over the water. And the dog and his people, they should have known that.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I can't tell if they know things but don't let on, or if they didn't know it.
But I don't like them, period.
Yeah, no, I don't care for them either.
I mean, I'm not totally sure what his name, Dogon or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to call him the dog anyway. How suddenly is he a big leader? Is he even better leader than Ben was? I mean, what's his status in this thing?
So he's not the leader, but he's in charge of people. He's in charge of whoever's at the temple, basically.
No, he's in charge of the temple.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's at least something that I can relate to. That's good.
I mean, that's what I'm reading into it.
Yeah.
So, and then of course at the end of this one, Claire shows up and looks like a wild woman, which
it doesn't fit her at all.
No, she just looks weird. Yeah, I agree.
She Danielle, that character and that actor was totally into it. I was I could marry that woman, but Claire, no, annoying.
And I think, remember whenever Danielle was killing off her own people?
Yeah.
Like, I think they were infected.
Yep. That might be.
So it is sort of the opposite of that.
Yep. But we can always judge. How come Jacob didn't save Danielle in the first place and all that stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
But,
So I don't know. That's all I have on this episode. Really.
But if we are going to go that way later on, and we are, how come if Claire is infected, is Christian as well infected, or is he just dead? We still don't have that question answered. Christian is a big question mark.
Right, yeah, exactly. Was she infected before, or did she get infected living in
the cottage?
Yeah, exactly. Because I like, part of me wonders if she was getting infected from being injected by Ethan and these guys.
Okay.
But
or was she on the opposite? Injection stopped her from being infected. But that means that the dark guy, the black guy, is actually being the cause of every child not being born. Oh dear, that's getting big. We have dropped the baby stuff, didn't we?
I'm just thinking if there's any merit to it. Like, it's definitely not. Like, I feel like if that's what it was, they would show that to us somehow.
Somehow, yeah.
But it kind of... Well, I don't know. Basically, it feels like they're trying to answer some questions pretty quickly. And not necessarily in like a... I don't mean this, but the only word I can think of is in like a cohesive way.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a bunch of random answers, not really one.
Yeah. And it's dutting. Yes.
Yeah. So let's move on to the substitute.
Yes. And you said that this was the favorite of the three?
Yeah. So
Me too.
I like all the stuff in the Flash sideways. Like, Helen and John are actually together. I really like her. I like the moments they have together.
Yep.
I like when he meets Rose, when he meets Hurley.
He beats Ben Linus.
Yeah.
And that doesn't fit at all, because in this timeline, suddenly Ben Linus isn't in the Dharma Initiative. He isn't in. That means that the Dharma Initiative isn't existing.
Well,
at all.
So Yeah, so where another weird thing, because if the moment they changed time was on the island in the 70s, he should have been on that island as a kid,
End round.
I assume, or even if he got off the island, like I don't think he would just be a school teacher.
No, but it was a very good role for him. I like this.
Yeah, so this is sort of something that I find hard to meet. I like the fact that Locke is the substitute teacher, and that sort
Yep.
of is the title, but he was also the substitute for Christian.
Yep.
You know, like I like all the double entendre there, triple entendre. So I liked it, but again, same as last episode, it doesn't really match anything happening in 2007, because in 2007 John's actually just dead, and it's not actually John, even though it's his
No.
face. So
But hold it. John is dead on the island, and instead it's the black one.
yeah, exactly.
So we are following the black one in
Yeah.
one path and John on the other path, and that's the mirroring. Again, they are mirroring each other.
Yeah, but there's nothing like I mean there's no
Obvious thing. No, no, it's not.
yeah, I mean the only thing I would say is interesting is when was it Richard or Ben? Somebody says to the man in black who's Locke that you're not scared. Like the John I knew was always scared. You're not scared at all.
Yeah.
And like that in the Flash Sideways, he isn't scared, but he does still go on that walkabout and get turned away. He still makes some of the same mistakes.
Yep.
But it's also interesting that Helen says, like, when they talk about the wedding, she's like, we should get your dad and my mom and dad.
Yeah.
Almost like the dad is a good guy.
Yeah.
like,
As
not
I
a bad
said,
guy.
it is the good timeline. Everything is fine. This is how it could have been if that dawn crash didn't occur.
Yeah. So,
It doesn't feel right when I'm saying it even, so it is something wrong, as you stated earlier. There's something twisted about this.
and I like how they teased that he might call Jack, you know, the spinal surgeon, but he
Yeah.
ends up not. Like, I like the Flash Sideways for this episode.
Yeah, but it's not much action, and it's not much information. We will
Nope.
search in information, and to be totally honest, this timeline doesn't give us anything but drama. And I could go and watch old reruns of Dallas or anything if
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah, no, nothing. It's not helping the other story along yet.
No, and it's not helping the island, and it's not helping us.
Nope.
On the other hand, I'm not totally sure that the other timeline is helping us either.
Well, the other in this episode, I didn't like the other timeline until the very end. But we basically see John, or the Man in Black, talking to Richard.
Yep.
And then he starts seeing this bloody kid
Yep.
who basically, I think it's Jacob as a kid.
Might be, yeah.
And it's the island. Once you're dead, you can appear as a ghost. And he says, because he says, you know, you're like going against the rules. You're not allowed
Yep.
to kill him,
Yep.
kind of thing.
That is a hint to us that, if anything, we are going to suspect that the Black is going to kill Sawyer.
Yep, yep. And this is where they explain. I mean, this episode. So the end of this episode, when he takes Sawyer to the cave.
Yeah.
This was a big thing for me
Oh, yeah.
before.
Oh, yeah.
It explains how the numbers relate to why are they there. They're all candidates to become the next protector of the island.
Yep.
And Jacob's been looking for this protector for a very long time. He has this wall with all these numbers and names, and over time he's been crossing them out.
Yep.
And there's only a few names left, and it's one of these people.
And they are all on the island at the moment.
Yeah, and I like that concept. I feel like I like that's what it's been building up to all along, is they were all brought here basically as a test to become the new protector.
Yes. But the reason he had to do this, we don't know. Because Jacob didn't know that he was going to die. He has been suspecting it for several years, yes. But no.
I mean, if Jacob is the current protector, then it seems like logical that if he's recruiting a new protector, then he's going to, like, there's no reason for a new one if he's going to be around, right?
No. But to be totally honest, there's no use for a new one if Jacob is dead either. Because the Black One takes over the island.
Well,
he's also wanting to protect the island.
No, but he wants to leave. I think he either wants to just kill everyone or leave. We don't know what he wants to leave, and he also wants to kill everybody. Like, we've heard both of those things, right?
Yeah, he's a very bad Darth Vader.
Yeah. So I don't know. Now, the other interesting thing is they said that he's stuck as Locke now.
Yep.
Like,
that was cool.
But I don't understand the rule. Like, why would he be stuck as Locke? Locke's not. I mean, does that mean that he was stuck as Christian? Like, why is he stuck as Locke? I don't understand.
I don't think he is stuck at all. Okay. I think that if he can make a kill somehow, he can just change.
You know, you're right. He's not stuck as Locke because we saw him become the Black Smoke, and I think we saw him become Alex.
Yep.
So he's not stuck actually, and
I don't think so.
And I think, well,
perhaps if you're thinking about a true body that needs to be moved one muscle at a time, then he might be stuck in that part. But he is able to do some other stuff as well, and that's not what I call stuck. And also, if you're looking at the absolute last part, which I was hoping we are going to end later on, Jacob had it to, there are 3 different choices, right?
Yeah. Let's talk.
Or 2 different choices. You can leave the island with me, or you can stay here as Jacob for the rest of your life. He told Sawyer. Yeah. But there's always a third option. I would say that the Black One becomes Sawyer going home. So it's not the Black One who is going home, it's Sawyer going home, but the Black is controlling his body.
Well, it does seem like the Man in Black needs somebody to take him off the island.
Yes.
He can't get off himself.
No.
Which, I guess...
And he can't do it in John Locke's body. So he needs to be brought with someone. So Sawyer needs to be alive for some minutes more.
Okay.
There is a problem or two, but we'll get to that later on.
Yeah, so this was cool though. I just liked the concept at the end.
There are a couple of stuff again. You don't suspect that. Of course, there's an iceberg in this one as well. 2, to be totally honest. There is one thing that is really annoying me in this series, and it's not only in this one. This is a typical American way of narrating a story. Every time someone in a TV show or a movie says, I'm going to tell you everything, we are not going to know anything. You get a very small tidbit, and the people who has been demanding to know everything is pleased with that. Let's go to Jack. I think it's Jack this time. Time to talk. If you just give him this pill, we are going to tell you everything. And then Jack asks, the only thing he asks is, was that poison? And they say, yes. And that's everything. That's absolutely everything. Now we know everything. Yes?
Yeah, you're right. We, at least the viewer, and I don't think Jack pursued it, but we don't get the actual information.
I mean, how come Jack is so eager to know everything? 1 minute, tries to swallow the pill, spits it up probably, and then suddenly, I'm not interested anymore. It's like 10 minutes. Come on. And that's happening all the time. This is not the first time he lost, and it's definitely not the first time in American movies. But if you see a European movie or an Asian movie, if you're going to know something, they are going to tell you. And a Swedish movie is actually rather boring because they are going to tell you a new story that will tell you everything, but with some twists, of course. And then you can continue the original movie, which you've already forgotten the story about because that's Ingmar Bergman, if you've never heard of him. He's really boring. So that's one. Let's see. There's one more thing. And it's... oh, yes, there are two more things. But this one is actually rather fun. They are going to bury Locke's body.
Yeah.
Yep. And the two men who is doing this is Ben Linus and Frank, the pilot. Frank is still using his old uniform, and it's dirty like, yes. And Ben Linus' shirt is actually, well, it's rather dirty. But his T-shirt is totally clean. It's a new one, new fresh one. It's just a bit sweaty. And after having buried John and digging the grave, it's still clean.
So continuity errors you're looking for.
Yeah, well, it's just shiny. If it was a black one or a blue one, it was a clean white shirt. And it was white all along. He hasn't been digging anything. They just took a shot with him just throwing some sand up once, and that's it. So it's hot enough on Hawaii, so the sweat is okay. I mean, come on, give me a break. And then one more thing, and this one you might actually be intrigued by. If now Sawyer is so down in the dumps, is that the reason he easily follows John Locke? That he knows is not John Locke? I mean, if you're really looking into it, he is so down, Sawyer. He just wants to booze his life away, and he's not interested in anything. And then suddenly the black one comes and says, do you want to know why you're on this island? Oh yes, I want to go and find out that. What? You haven't been interested for 5 seasons, man. You're not interested in why you're on the island. You've never been. You have totally said so several times throughout the show. Mr. Sawyer, or James Ford, isn't interested in why he's on this island. And suddenly, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it. Like, I felt like
Not really,
what
no.
he did was believable enough. But what you're saying makes sense to me, which is that shouldn't be enough of a motivation.
No, but if you're pushed to a very special limit, and it feels like it doesn't really matter what I do from now on, I can do whatever, then this is actually, it's okay. I actually happened to have some similar experience in 2009 when somebody asked me, do you want to have a bus driving license? Yeah, what the heck? Why not? It would probably not go well at all. But nevertheless, I'm not going to say no to that. It was so not me. And when my ex heard that I was going to take the bus driving license, she said, what? You hate driving a car even. Yeah. But I'm not going to say no this time.
I mean, I can see where he's grieving for Juliet, and he wants to know why. Why did I have to lose her? But
really, he doesn't ask that.
Right? Yeah. No. He doesn't. Yeah. I mean, what you said makes sense to me, but it's not an issue for me, though.
No, it is not, and that's why I'm taking it up as the end of this one. It was a very good episode.
I would almost rather ask, how does anyone get up and down those damn ladders? There's like
the only ones.
3 ladders side by side that you have to go from one to the other, and it broke so easily, like...
Yeah.
I feel like the Jacob would have fallen into the water a long time ago.
Oh, yes, absolutely. But perhaps he doesn't weigh much. Well, it was some action. It was something. Oh, by the way, I need to remember these ladders. Perhaps they are somewhere where we are going, you and I, later on.
They are. They
They
definitely are.
are.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah, but there's no writing on the ceiling there. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
So,
right.
so
Let's take the next episode, man.
yeah, the lighthouse.
And this is well,
Oh,
the good timeline is really Dallas.
okay. So let's start with the Flash sideways, the good,
Yes, let's
quote
do.
unquote, good timeline. See, I don't like calling it the good timeline because I don't think it's a good. I don't enjoy it as much, but
No, it's not good at that.
yeah,
But it's what
yeah.
could happen to the characters that
Well,
is really good in order to what is happening to them in the main one.
well. So who is David's mom? Is it Sarah?
No, can't be.
It's not Kate.
No, it's absolutely not Kate.
So why
And
does
he's friends enough with her, so he knows where she keeps the key and all that.
because this is not 2004. Or I'm sorry, this is not 2007, right? This is 2004. Well, even if it's 2007, let's just say it's 2007. Doesn't even matter.
Nope.
So David would have been born several years before Flight 815.
Absolutely.
But he doesn't exist in the other timeline.
He's at least 14 years of age, right?
I would say yes. At
13,
least.
14. That's
Probably, maybe more, actually.
even that. He's playing the piano and he's playing well.
So he's not a product of changing Flight 815. He would have already been around.
Yep.
So again, like there's something else going on because he's definitely not around. He definitely wasn't around unless they're saying that the 70s when the island sunk, that somehow changed Jack's life. His dad still died in Sydney.
Some things you can't change, yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand. And then we did get a note that Christian left that named Claire in the will, and his mom was like, Jack's mom was like, who's Claire?
Yep.
And I thought it was interesting that Dogan had a son and was there at the piano place.
Yep.
I thought that was interesting. I don't know what it means,
Absolutely nothing. Not to me, anyway.
but like, of all the characters in the whole show that they could have dropped in, why put him there?
Yeah. Why not the Mr. Chang or anything like that? That would have been fun. But they put him there. That means that Dogon wasn't even in the on the island when it started.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Dogan has been on the island a long time.
Yeah.
So he shouldn't even be alive in this time.
No.
Yeah, so something's wrong. Like, or something's weird.
There are two different stories that aren't connected but might be influenced somehow. We are totally
No,
sure.
the time doesn't work.
No, that doesn't work.
The time totally doesn't work. So something's screwy here.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first thing we got to know that Jack has a son. And suddenly I was thinking, wait a minute, when we started this season, did he phone his son the first thing he did when he landed in LA? Nope, he didn't. That wasn't part of the plan.
That was his mom.
And yet, now we are to believe that Jack is trying to be a good father. And I'm not totally sure that I can tell him that he's convincing me. I'm actually writing down Jack is a terrible father.
He seems, well, it's hard. It's kind of hard to say. He seems to be, yes, because he's putting his work first.
Yeah.
but it's hard. It's hard for me to think that they're so distant that they just. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not.
They are connecting at least in this episode, and the only thing from this one is that Claire Littleton is mentioned in the will. It was rather easy to find the will suddenly. I'm not totally sure why she didn't look there, and I must say Veronica Hamill as her mother, Jack's mother, is not working in this one. I'm not. That lady has never worked for me as an actor. And I really don't like it when suddenly the Lost crew is getting these semi-actors that from the 80s into this TV show. Why don't keep on using unknown talents? Because Veronica Hamill is not a good actress, has never been, is never going to be.
Well, wasn't she in earlier seasons as Jack's mom?
Might have been, but I didn't react to it then. But this time I really did. She's really lousy. She was in Hill Street Blues, I think it was called. It was a cop show back in the 80s, and she was useless back then. But that's the only thing that I have against this good time. I'm still calling it the good timeline because it is good. People are feeling good. They're having the normal stuff to deal with. I mean, what are we going to eat? Cold pizza. Oh, yes. How come you Americans love to eat cold pizza?
Because it's so good.
It's not good. Pizza should be eaten at least semi-heated. You can't reheat it either.
I like the way that the cheese hardens and gels with the sauce when it's cold. The flavor pops more.
Okay.
When it's warm, it's all blended and mushy. Yeah, I like cold pizza.
Yes, previously on Lost, you can get every known fact about pizza as well. Yes.
So the Flash Sideways, I was totally bored, honestly.
Yeah. Let's leave it.
Yeah. Okay. So Hurley.
There are two.
Well,
things.
okay. Actually, I'll say one other thing really quick. So Jack plays the piano in his timeline.
Yep.
And it seems like in this Flash Sideways that he doesn't. I don't know if he does or not.
I think he does, and I think he is actually forcing his son to play just as his father has forced him to play once upon a time. It's like.
But he didn't even know that his son was going to that audition for the
He thought that the son David has dropped that piano playing.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't even know that because he hadn't keep in touch.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's just working hours, and that's normal life, at least for most people who have a career to take care of.
All right, so now let's get off the Flash Sideways.
Yeah. Yes, do that. And we have two things to deal with on the island. It's both Hugo and Jack, and it's also Claire and Jin.
Yeah, Hurley in particular sees Jacob. Jacob says someone's coming to the island.
Yeah.
Is that a lie, or is somebody still coming?
I vote for Charles Whitmore.
You think he's coming to the island?
Or Mrs. Harding?
I don't think so. I think it's someone else. I couldn't figure out who's missing, but it seemed like he just said that to get them to the lighthouse, but he didn't. But I don't think he was. I don't think anyone's actually coming though. I don't know who it could be.
First of all, I don't. Well, we have debated Jacob and the actor who's playing Jacob, but in this case, I'm going to go against you. Yes, someone is coming. It's not important when he or she is arriving, but he or she should be here. And the main part is that Jack is the best candidate for taking over after Jacob. And it's nothing to do with the fact that he has JAC in the start of his name. So I think that Jacob needs to convince Jack to be the strongest candidate ever. And he's not. He's not really interested in being a candidate at all.
It's interesting that Jack came back to the island and was so keen on trying to fulfill his destiny, and now he's given it up again.
Yeah, because he didn't land in 2007.
Yeah.
He landed in 77, and that was not what he anticipated at all.
Yeah. I did also like the fact that candidates can order Dogen around. They seem to
Yeah.
have some sort of status higher than Dogen.
You can't kill us.
And yeah, and Hurley was like, basically told him to go away. That was good. So Hurley brings Jack to the lighthouse, and then basically this is how Jacob was able to watch what was going on in the outside world.
Yep.
But then Jack smashes it, and then Jacob tells Hurley it's too late for those people at the temple. But like, so did Jacob know that Jack was going to smash it?
No, but it was one of the options that Jack could have done, because Jack is an impatient person, and who knows?
Because supposedly they were supposed to go to the lighthouse in order to allow that other person to find the island.
Yep.
But
what if the lighthouse is a mirror on the other side as well? That means that others can't see what's going on the island either. So the communication is stopped between them.
Yeah, and if Jack broke it, doesn't that imply that whoever's coming isn't going to be able to find them?
Yeah, there's other ways. Jacob says so.
Yeah.
Jacob doesn't lie. You must remember, Jacob doesn't need to be lying about stuff. He's just telling stuff in a very strange way that we don't always understand. But he's never lying.
So do you still think he's a bad guy?
He's an idiot, but he's not a bad guy. No.
You think the actor...
Oh, the actor doesn't fit. But never mind him. We can't change him.
No, but last time you were suspicious of Jacob based on the way the actor was playing him, right?
Yeah, he doesn't feel right. But I have to admit, because of the actions of the Black One, that something is really bad on one side and something is really good on the other side. It's the old true story about white and black and good and bad, or all that stuff. And that's where I suddenly realized, okay, we're doing Star Wars again. I root for the white side. I'm rooting for the good side, and it has to be Jacob because I don't see anyone else.
Yeah.
No one else except for Hurley. Perhaps Hurley's the good side.
I think Hurley's innocent and good. So the names. So Kate's,
that's not the same thing.
Kate's name was not on the ceiling in the other place.
Not that we could see.
So it was Saeed, which we know he's now bad.
Yep.
Hurley. Actually, I forgot. I should look up whose name was what number. I didn't write that down.
Does it really matter? Isn't that just the order of who is the most active candidate?
No. Well, okay. 4 was Locke.
Yeah.
He was dead. 8 was Hugo.
Yep.
15 was Ford. 16 was Saeed. 23 is Jack, and 42 is Quan, but we don't know if it's Sun or Jin.
No, that's true.
And there's no Kate.
Not that we know. We didn't see everyone.
Well, I mean, of the numbers, of our special numbers, we don't see Kate.
No.
So, and obviously, like, okay, if Locke is 4 and Hugo is 8, who was 5, 6, and 7? They're not sequential.
No, they're not. Perhaps Ilana is somewhere up there as well. We don't know that.
I don't think she's a candidate. I think she's a bodyguard, but I don't know. Anyway.
I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
I liked this additional lore stuff. Like, this got me really excited this time around. I was a little bit bored. But I was completely surprised by the Claire stuff.
Okay.
Because I apparently completely blanked this out of my memory.
Yeah, because you are mixing Danielle and Claire, right? Because you have been debating Danielle for so much You said that she was not going to die until season 6 or something like that, and suddenly she's already dead in season 4. And what? You
No,
was
this is just me completely blanking out this whole part of Claire, which I don't like. That she literally is like a bad guy. I mean,
yeah, right, yeah.
she has no qualms about just killing people. When
Nope.
she was the least violent of all the people in the
Yep.
whole camp, besides
Yep.
Rose, she's suddenly like just gonna kill a guy with an axe, and she's gonna kill Kate if Kate truly had her baby all this time.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
It doesn't work, right? I don't agree with you.
Yeah.
It doesn't really work.
Yeah. I like Jin in this episode as he reacts to her.
Yes, he's actually reacting very well, but she doesn't react to the fact that he's very good in English, which he should have, nevertheless. And then we have that sort of, just release me and I will jump on her when she gets, And then Claire comes in and says, I'm glad you didn't untie him.
Yeah, and like it was sort of weird when she's like, "Oh, he's my friend."
Oh yeah.
Like she knows who Locke is, and obviously she can see through his glamour, right? Like that it's not really Locke. But
I mean, Richard also saw the real black guy, the one that we saw together with Jacob on the beach when we started this.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So we should really have a better name than the black one.
The Man in Black. That's what they call him in the.
Yeah, I know.
That's what they call him.
If you hadn't said that, I would have given him a name. I'm good at that. Well, that's it, except for the last thing. That was that John comes. Yes, that's it. And there is one thing. Jack needs to know. He needs to get it now. Why does he need to get it now, Jacob? Why couldn't he get it in season 4 or even season 3? Why? Because Jacob wasn't in those. Well, he was, but he wasn't. Why now? Because Jacob is dead and we need to have a new Jacob.
Yeah.
But why don't start making his mind work earlier? Okay, there is one problem, and it's Jacob couldn't do much when they were back in 77. Right? I mean, if you are Jacob, he is on the island, yes, but he's on the 77 island.
See, I don't know at what point did he get trapped in the cabin with the ash around it so he couldn't leave the cabin.
That's true.
At what point was he...
But wasn't that to be sure that the black one didn't come in?
See, I don't know. That's the whole... I don't understand how that all works.
But it was an opening. So, and they saw the Richard, I thought it wasn't Ben who saw it. The first time we were at the cabin, there was an opening in the ash. Or was it the second time? Oh dear, this is getting...
Yeah, I don't know, because like I feel like Jacob was... Somebody trapped him in the cabin at some point.
Yeah.
So somebody had to have been... And obviously the Man in Black had free reign of the island this whole time to be the smoke monster and all that stuff.
Yep.
But...
I doubt that the Man in Black can use ash.
Well, and also Ilana took Jacob's ash from the fire. And
why?
And remember Bram, whenever the smoke monster came at him, he put a circle of ash around himself.
It doesn't...
So he couldn't directly be harmed, but they just dropped a rock on his head. So... But it...
But Ilana took some ash, yes, but they can't revive Jacob.
I don't think so.
No. Dead is dead.
Exactly.
We're going to be talking about a lot of these titles of the show for ages to come.
Well, so then I guess the only other thing I'll say, like this stuff with the lighthouse and the the cave. I thought they would be a little bit like maybe like in about 4 more episodes. So
Okay.
the fact that those are done, I know one thing that happens. I don't know how they get from here to there.
No.
I have no memory of what happens with Saeed, no memory of what happens with Claire. I don't remember, like, I know something about Jin, but I don't
Okay.
know how they get there. So, I mean, we only have, 12 episodes left.
Yep.
And judging by the titles, I'm afraid to say anything. But, so, anything else on these three?
And the Lighthouse. Why didn't we see that before?
Because you weren't looking for it. That's what Hurley said, right?
Yes, that was what Hurley said. And to be totally honest, I was actually thinking that question almost in my head. I mean, this was an obvious landmark on this island. Why didn't we see that one before? It was too big. And then suddenly Hurley said, Jack said it, right? And Hurley said, well, we didn't look for it. And I'm not totally sure where on the island this lighthouse is because we haven't been all over this island on these seasons. No way we could. So it could have been hidden somewhere.
I mean, nobody ever went all the way around it.
No.
Which still bugs me, even though they did.
Yeah.
I mean, they got a map from Danielle whenever Saeed's tried to go around it, but they still never did. And when you... So... Well, we'll talk about this when we do a thing. We'll talk about this when we do a thing.
Yes, when we do a thing. What's the next episodes? I don't have my box here.
6. So next episode of our show, we're going to cover 3 more.
Yep.
We're going to cover Sundown.
Sundown. Sun.
Yeah, I don't think it means dusk. I hope it doesn't mean sun is going to die, but...
No, we never know.
Sundown. And then 7 is Dr. Linus, which I'm pretty sure is him as the teacher.
Yes, I suspect that as well.
And then 8 is Recon, which... No idea. Recon.
That is okay, but recon means that you're checking the area for in a proper attack or something like that. Well, we'll see about that. But those are the 3 we are going up against next week.
Yep.
Or whenever we are then moving this one. Right. I think, well, we'll see if this Titanic is going to sink all the way down or if they're going to make it float with ping pong balls or whatever.
So let's just circle back. So as far as the mystical stuff, like the concept that Jacob had their names scratched in a cave wall a long time ago and has just been waiting, like drawing people and waiting for these candidates and then using a lighthouse to observe them, like isn't that some of the mystical stuff that you were looking for?
Not really. That's just explaining how he could.
Okay.
And if you're into fantasy at all, or even just Tolkien, you know that these things are going to be happening. I'm not called wizard because it's fun to be called wizard. I'm into RPGs and stuff, and I can just buy that but it's not mystical enough. And it has nothing to do with the island as such. It doesn't answer why is the island so special that you need 2 guys. You need a black side and a white side to keep it afloat because we haven't had that in 4 seasons before this. And now suddenly it's important. I mean, you are... When we saw episode 1 in season 1, we had a lot of stuff. And we saw the black one already there. Or we heard of him, could say that. And that was mystic. Now suddenly we even have a face on him. And we don't have a name, but he's not mystic anymore. The black smoke monster is not a mystic anything. And the Dharma isn't. The temple isn't. The dog isn't. There is not much, no, it's not much that is... Yeah, there are a 70s guy who knows some Chinese stuff, but that's not Mystic. Nope. I don't see it. But there is a lot of questions and there's a lot of answers to come. I'm not saying that it's totally sinking to the bottom of the ocean,
Well,
but we have hit an iceberg, man.
so how about the flash sideways? Does it
That's drama.
seem more like there's something weird happening than when you watched the 3?
Well, that might be, but it's I see more mystical things in the Shakespeare play than I can see in this drama stuff. Okay, he's playing the piano, how nice. It's really more of filling out the time with 50% garbage, and then we have the island.
But there's some stuff that doesn't add up, like
Exactly,
Logan
yes.
and David, and
Yeah,
so
but it's
that's
not interesting enough.
so,
If you
okay.
take
So we need some clue as to where this is going. So right now,
yeah, we still need information. Yes, boss.
I think we know where the 2007's going.
Yeah, more or less down the drains. Yes,
We need to
to a
figure
clash.
out why
Clash of the
is
Titans.
yeah. Okay. All right. So I
Hopefully, we are going to get some answers later on.
yeah, when I watched, I liked the episode better now that we talked about it than while I was watching
Yeah, but
it.
you say that every time.
Well, that's good. That's why we're doing a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
All right.
I'm finished.
Yeah. See you next
Bye.
time.